really know exactly what they can get away with, what they can't get away with. And then you get put in these games where it ends up being a stomp because you're completely off base there, or you're not expecting your opponents to ever pick Quap because Quap has barely been touched for, I don't know, 6 months, a year maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lack of practice on certain one. I mean, theory crafting's one thing, but actually playing with a specific hero, you've got to still be able to play it well.
And it's completely different from pubs, you know? Everybody was focused so heavily on Helm of the Dominator and has been impactful here, but in some cases maybe even been over-purchased on every carry kind of a thing. So there's a lot of small things that seem viable in pubs that just genuinely won't work against really good teams.
Early drow ban.
So Underlord is still in. That's the biggest thing that I noticed.
As is the Luna, as is the Shadow Demon.
I think,
as is the Marauder.
I mean, I kind of like to see VP just take the Shadow Demon. They're very, very good with it. And
well, they can take STM or on if they want.
They could. They could get the combo. Or something like the kind of the Slardar ST as well. I kind of feel it could help VP if they kind of stick with the.
Oh, it's 12.5% win rate.
I know, but their Slardar Lifestealer is. They are, I'd say, one of the best teams with that combo.
Yeah.
I think it's too early for Slardar. I think they would prefer to grab something that's better in the off lane, just pressure-wise.
Yeah.
Underlord's perfect for it.
Yeah, so Ben called that one.
Put him with something else. Underlord's fixture is really just farming, get a big team fight item like Mech or Vlad's, and then join your team with fights.
We're going to see the Wisp in here?
I don't think they'll pick it up first phase.
Yeah.
They like it second or third phase, generally. The question is whether or not they want to deal with the SD. SD hasn't been banned, and NP, I'm not sure how likely they are to take it, but...
With the Luna?
It's so good against Luna late game though. You just disrupt her and you get these amazing illusions.
It's really good.
And solo plays a amazing Shadow Demon anyway, so.
One of the things I don't like about it though is it's weak for the dual lane off lane, which I think that VP kind of have been liking to do. That's I think the one big downside about it, because I think they probably want to pressure to Luna's lane. Pasha doesn't go jungle very often.
So grab Disruptor many times before. I think they can still make it work. They just need to prioritize his levels a bit better.
He's good versus Envy's good heroes too, like the Ember and the Mirana. He's very good versus both of those.
And I can't remember if I don't think it was VP, but we've definitely seen another team pick this opening, this LAN, and it obviously just allows you to have an incredible amount of crowd control in the team fights there. The synergy of the pit into the kinetic field, it becomes very hard for the opponents to fight around if they don't have their BKBs.
Do you see the Luna Mirana combo this time? I've seen it already very effective once.
Sisters got to stick together, right, Owen?
Absolutely. What's that? What does that mean?
It means nothing.
I mean,
and it was successful.
10 seconds remaining.
Nice breaking the ice, Burge.
No problem. We're sisters.
I saw you crack a smile when Red Eye said something to you. I was like, man, that would make my day if I made Purge smile about something.
Really? Can I remember what it was so I can do it again?
It was something about them exchanging MP versus VP. It might have been a pity smile, but it was still a smile.
Yeah, I don't remember this. That was pretty.
It was a pity smile.
I was like, please, Red Eye, I want to talk about something.
Second phase bans, one on the way.
Yeah, standard ones there as well. Shadow Demon, as we mentioned. Yeah, they just don't want to have the chance of going up against an SD. Luna, SD and Morana as well, two absolutely disgusting combinations. And you kind of mentioned it before, Red. The Shadow Fiend gets a touch upon here, banning it against no one, as I mentioned before. One of his best heroes in the mid lane, and something that they have shown that they're very happy with picking in this patch.
But it means that they're not scared of the Wisp, because usually when they pick Shadow Fiend, they pair it with a Wisp. They could easily just ban the Wisp, and it's kind of like banning out the Shadow Fiend, which is a little bit more interesting. So Ramsey's hero is still kind of up in the air. He has 3 of his bans targeted towards him, I would say. And he used to play really funny stuff like Chaos Knight and Spectre. I think were the 2 that I saw him play. I was like, who plays this anymore? But he's that guy.
Chaos Knight's not ready. The hero needs a rework.
It's great as a support.
Reserve time.
Stop saying that. It's actually not. It's like the worst scaling ability in the game.
Hey, I wonder if they bring back the Ramses Jara. We saw Wings do it. It won a game, you know what I mean? And it was one of his classics.
It'd be really sick with their combo.
Yeah, it's got a good team fight with the Unload Disruptor.
I mean, I don't know if you want to do it against a Luna Mirana, though. Like, Gyro has single target damage issues, unless you go the Ags build, so I just don't see it being effective against Luna Mirana. I think you just get bursted down repeatedly.
He could always bust out a Huskar. I kind of forgot about the hero, but I think Ramsey's played it before.
Yeah, I haven't seen any Huskar here.
Huskar Wisp would be nice, but I don't know if it's a good dispatch at all.
Okay, there's the Ogre.
There's the staple they've been needing this whole time. Lane pressure. You can just harass Mirana. You just sit mid and let him attack you, and you're like space created as your mid gets last hits. Because they have Underlord, I feel like, especially Ogre Magi as well, they just hit for this like 25-minute timing, I feel like.
What heroes do you think would pair best with it, seeing as you called out Ogre as one of their better heroes?
That was the extent of my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
I'm done. I'm out.
I mean, would you like to see maybe for Ramses something like oh, okay.
Wow,
No
we finally get a
sniper.
sniper.
All right.
They're back.
It's taken 2 days, but we finally got one.
It's like a Boston Majors draft they did. They did Ogre Magi and Sniper, and they actually were able to keep up farm with an Alchemist, pretty much, just with Bloodlust and a fast Maelstrom. He went like Dragonlance Maelstrom, I believe. It was really effective.
They also have no heroes that can get on top of the sniper.
Not yet.
When we saw the Lone Druid game with a Super 4 range
5
build, it was
seconds
like
remaining.
he was up against Ember and Wraith King, but like Luna can't fight against a sniper. Like the range
Reserve
disparity is just too
time.
great, and Moronic also can't leap in on a sniper.
I'll
And-
say Warlock too, really.
yeah, Warlock too, and it's also protected by the Underlord. So I think the sniper's set up for really great success in this game.
Yeah, if he just goes like Mech Vlads or something like that, and he has Bloodlust on top of that, he's gonna hit really hard. I do wonder if NP's just gonna snag Avenge here for support, just to help offset some of the Underlord aura, as well as you could swap Sniper. I think that would be decent. It also gives them a arrow setup. Right now they've got nothing for Morana.
And also something as well, yeah, to get people out of kind of Underlord and Disruptors combination. I mean, already this battlefield is going to be an absolute mess with fields being thrown down, Pit of Malices, shrapnel everywhere from VP. It's going to be very hard for the side of MP to come into a 5v5, and unless they do get a good jump on one of the backliners or the sniper in VP's case.
Yeah, they need a way to get in the fight, like
Yeah.
a Blink Ravage. I think would be perfect.
Yeah, I'm
That's something.
Oh god,
Yeah, they'll do it.
I was gonna say this, but I was like, I really hope they don't pick Spirit Breaker, because
like
Spirit
it?
Breaker is awful against Underlord. You just put the pit down, and it lasts like 12 seconds, and if he charges through it, he's just stunned. It's terrible against Underlord, if the pit is in the right place. And I was thinking about it, but Darkseer's already banned, so I didn't expect it, but
10
I'm not
seconds
feeling good about
remaining.
SB here. They're a little weak on Disable at least, but at least in like
5
mid to late
seconds
game team
remaining.
fights, it's not a good matchup.
Maybe they just wanted a hero that could skirmish, because Warlock already covers the 5-on-5, so maybe they
Reserve
want heroes
time.
that can move around the map a lot more. So I think it's good if the Underlord is not there, which may happen for the majority of the early game, but I agree with you in the team fights that it's going to be a tough one
Dire
for
team
SB.
banned.
Okay, final picks and final bans. What are we looking for on MP then?
Offlaner for
Studied
MSS.
MSSs. Well, yeah, the Omni ban as well,
Yeah.
very much. Something that we've seen already be very strong this tournament. I think he's played 2 games, won 2, has been banned out 6, now 7 times.
10 seconds
Beast,
remaining.
Tide, I think, are generally the ones that he plays. They don't pick Batrider
5
very
seconds
often, although
remaining.
I think it would be not so bad for them. They don't really have great ways to deal with the Bat. We also see
Reserve
Clockwork
time.
sometimes as a hero to get into the Sniper.
What'd you do against Disruptor though? That's the one here.
That's the one. That's why I don't.
What,
think it's
what do you think
particularly
about a potential MSS Nyx
Dire
Assassin?
team pick.
great. Nyx is all right too, but it's just like you gotta bypass like the Underlord in this particular
Yeah.
game.
It's not that good this game. I mean, Underlord, Disruptor, Ogre aren't really targets that you're going to want to nail. It's basically just Sniper, and I think picking a Nyx just for a Sniper, which is kind of
10
okay, but not that
seconds
great.
remaining.
I like the Batrider idea. I think it's a good tool against Underlord, just to always
5
kite around him. You have
seconds
tons of
remaining.
damage. He's a little bit weak for lots of Disable. And it could pull Sniper out of
Reserve
position. I like
time.
that. Or something to facilitate Spirit Breaker to make him a better hero, like a Darkseer or an Omni Knight, both banned, but something that would help SB Roam to actually be more effective if he's underleveled. Because right now it's like their gank is not amazing. Like Warlock can roam around a little bit, but I think that's a good solution. Sand King,
Radiant
Spirit Breaker,
team
dual
pick.
off lane. They've got more disables, they've got more arrow setups, they've got more damage in the lane.
Is it going to be Bloodseeker time though for Ramses? Bloodseeker, Ogre, Sniper. That's what they do a
Oh,
lot.
that's right, they did that at Boston.
Yeah. I
it
think
was
it's also
cool.
pretty good versus Sand King.
That really would be going back to what they know,
10
wouldn't it?
seconds
And they have set up for the
remaining.
Blood Right with the double. Like,
Yeah, a lot of AoE control.
5
Static Storm
seconds
into Blood Right.
remaining.
I mean, what about kind of the skirmishing heroes? Gyro, Sven. I mean, even the Ursa is something that Ramses is very good at as well.
I don't know if I like Gyro or Ursa this game, and the other ones I think are very uncommon
as-
right now.
I think a lot of this game is just based around the Sniper though. Like he's kind of the main damage dealer, I think. So.
I think I like the Bloodseeker idea a lot.
Yeah.
You could even do like Rupture Glimpse or something.
Ooh.
Just buy 4 staffs.
Are the talents even any good? I don't.
They're pretty good.
I've seen them
They do
play.
go for the Ursa. It's okay.
It is something that Ramses is very, very historically strong at, and he obviously benefits from the bloodlust from the Ogre. Get those swipes in.
He could
That'd be
suffer in
good.
lane. I think it's my only issue.
He could get kited a lot as well, I guess, with kind of the breaker on him, the stuns from the Sand King.
Yeah.
That is an issue, potentially.
All right, okay. Thank you, all three of you. It's time to head over to our commentary team right now. And our commentary team has also been refreshed as well. Capitalist and Gods. It's all yours, boys.
Thank you, Paul. That's right. Me and Gods are going to be casting this next one. Gods already called out the 4th pick Sniper, and it seems like the analysts backed you up there. They felt like the Sniper was pretty strong pickup. Did that allow VP to win the draft, though?
I think so. I kind of got to the 5th pick, and I'm like, it didn't
Yeah.
seem to matter to me what they put Ramses on. I like VP's draft regardless. They just need another kind of hero to be in the front
10
lines for the
seconds
Sniper. This
remaining.
Sniper is going to be very hard to reach. The last 2 NP heroes, Spirit Breaker and Sand King,
5
are
seconds
designed to kind of be
remaining.
gap closers, but as Purge kind of mentioned, getting to the Sniper with charge, very difficult. Against some of these heroes like Underlord. The Sand King's a bit better off because he can blink in with a Burrow Strike, but the follow-up, it's going to have to come from some seriously good positioning and play from Eternal
Prepare
Envy on
for
the
battle.
Arana.
It's going to be hard to get past that Sniper, or excuse me, that Ursa, that Ogre, the Underlord as well. You've got 3 pretty tanky heroes that you have to make your way through in order to follow that Sand King onto the Sniper. So VP definitely drafting themselves what we feel like is an early advantage, but we'll have to see. NP certainly have a good combination of team fight and pushing power. They've got some early game power thanks to heroes like Spirit Breaker, Sand King, and even the Mirana are able to put some decent pressure in here and there when it comes to skirmishes. And then they've got 2 really big team fight ultimates in the Luna as well as the Warlock. If they can actually snowball you, we could see NP definitely getting out of control real quickly, right?
And yeah, we've seen a few times. This is like Warlock plus AoE drafts of NP with the Mirana, with the Luna ultimates. It's just one of them games where they're maybe a little bit behind, didn't have the greatest early game. All it takes is one big team fight where they hit that 3 to 5 hero fatal bonds. Envy will just immediately go blink in for the when he gets his Axe Scepter, gets the double star storm off, and that damage output with the fatal bonds is just absurd. So you have to be very careful about how aggressive you play if you're VP, and that's where they need these tanky frontliners. The Ursa is a very good pick because of the enrage. I don't think this is a game where Ramses is necessarily going to get a lot of kills. It's the Sniper who's going to pick up the kills. This hero was largely picked because he's pretty good in lane. He does have good lane dominance, and then he can just be very tanky and hard to kill with like a BKB Ags in rage in the front lines.
Yeah, he's pretty nice, particularly against Luna, right? This is this big like team fight damage over time spell that you just pop in rage and tank up a lot of the moonbeams for your allies, and you're going to be kind of good to go. I actually want to talk about Underlord. What did you think about Underlord in the previous series, especially that last game? That it felt like as an offlaner that wasn't able to accomplish as much as was needed for WG Unity.
Yeah, it's a hero you really kind of have to play around. He's fairly item dependent, level dependent. I compared him a few times to the Tide Hunter in that way, but it did feel like WG Unity couldn't get the full value out of him. I think partly because they were playing with an Alchemist. I think the hero really shines when you're playing more aggressive and 5-man pushing. They were playing more on the back foot, which is perhaps where it didn't work as well. Whereas this game, I look at VP, and once they get like a good timing with Sniper having a couple items, they get the level 7 Ogre with Bloodlust max out, they're going to be the ones pushing forward.
So Underlord's definitely a hero that you're going to be picking up early on in the draft because of how contested he usually is, and you have to draft around that hero very much, right? In which case, we feel like the Sniper is a more powerful ally to the Underlord than the Alchemist that was in the last
I
series.
feel so.
Yeah, I can definitely get down with that. Laning-wise, what are we going to have? Underlord, maybe Ogre's going to be making his way from mid to off lane here and there or something, but he's going to be matched up against a Luna Warlock, and of course our Spirit Breaker is going to be the roamer on the NP side. So it feels like a lane that Underlord should be able to do pretty well with his natural tankiness. A Sniper facing up against the Priestess of the Moon in the middle lane. Eternal Envy already picking up his signature Ring of Bacillus to see if he can toggle his way to an early CS advantage.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be any big surprises here. The Ogre roaming, NP going for a more traditional, just full-on trialing. Something you kind of have to do with the Warlock, who's not going to be able to zone an Underlord by himself. So often when you've got a kind of a weak dual lane, you just have to commit that pole position to the safe lane to start things off. And Pasha's not even going out the lane. He's actually already walking back to just keep blocking waves up top.
MSS, as the Sand King, is facing up against Disruptor Ursa. That sounds pretty nasty, but he does get pretty lucky in his offlane camp. He managed to get the trolls first, and that is a very easy pull for him to be able to take advantage of. He already has the Quelling Blade as well, so we may very well see an early Iron Talon that can help speed his way towards a Blink Dagger, and he won't have to deal with that threatening power of an Ursa in lane.
One of these new offlane things, which is just absurd with how easy this makes you to get your level 2. Ramsey's just trying to swoop his way through to make sure he gets that XP, but MSS has already ditched it. He's at the tower now, making sure he gets the creep XP, so really nice stuff for him with the trolls, and this just makes his life a lot easier, because the killing potential now of this dual lane is a lot more limited once MSS gets level 2. It's got the Burrow Strike, can potentially even get a Sandstorm if he needs to as well.
Yeah, that's something that you can kind of hold on to and see the opportunity for a Sandstorm. Lil does not have any counter vision, so this may be a possible play for MSS to play a lot more aggressive since the counter wards are already been placed.
So it looks like Oge's already used up most of his mana roaming around this middle lane, so we'll see him contest some of those 2-minute runes, try and come up, take the bounty rune away from NP if possible. And not a whole lot NP can do to kill him here, but they will try and snag it.
Looks like it will be enough to push Solo back.
A gift from the
CS-wise, it's looking pretty good. Luna's already taking an early lead. Sniper is taking the advantage against Eternal Envy as the Priestess of the Moon, but that's kind of to be expected. This Mirana is not going to be able to get much early CS against that Ignite. Now the Spirit Breaker is going to come in and try and interrupt it a little bit. Solo preemptively popping that Ironwood Branch and Tango to be able to make sure he has easily enough regen against a potential charge into arrow combo. So not even a real attempt from NP. They're just hoping to be able to push him back, buys Jackie some space, but it's just not happening. Solo continues to place himself on the opposing cliff, just keeping Eternal Envy completely zoned out.
I mean, the good for NP is the offlane right now. This Sanking is getting a tremendous amount of farm as well as experience. The bad is the mid lane. It's a mismatch as far as obviously being a 1v2 lane, and also just no one of those very mechanically solid players. And NP's kind of fallen back. He's thrown an arrow at some neutrals here, looking to play catch up. He's actually just ditching this mid lane at this point and going full on jungle. It's like slightly concerning, but it's not too worrying just yet. It's kind of the hero that will catch up very quickly with a kill or two from a rotation from a Spirit Breaker a bit later on.
Yeah, honestly, just because of the Sacred Arrow and the way he's able to take all those bigger creeps from these camps, he will manage to at least keep a semblance of farm while he waits for an easier lane to present itself.
Doesn't seem like either offlane is really being challenged too much. I mean, Pasha's hitting up the jungle. He's got his level 3, so he's Firestorm jungling with the Stout and the Quelling Blade. So neither team making any big moves just yet. If anything, it's probably going to be more on like the NP side. Perhaps with the early levels on Sanking, they can actually get aggressive here. Something like a Sanking Spirit Breaker rotation. Unlikely we see Underlord try to make too many aggressive moves. This is a hero that just wants to kind of defend his tower for as much as possible.
Yeah, that is the one big difference, right? Is that even some of the sustain heroes, like for example Omni Knight, they still want to be pretty active, but it's like the two offlaners that are popular right now that are a little bit different is the Darkseer and the Underlord. Those are two that just kind of park themselves in the lane, and they don't like to actually rotate out, just because their constant laning presence is the most powerful thing about them.
VP's moves are probably going to be more around the Ursense on his level timings. They can not really push this one tower in this lane. Maybe he'll come back in, but
get some damage onto Eternal Envy. Not a whole lot, but just something to keep him back. He's still sitting at 9-2 when it comes to CS. Half of that probably being neutrals, while 29-20 on no one, making sure to get every single one of those denies when possible. Charge away by Rose as he heads up towards the top lane, heading on to Pasha. He's trying to pull the creep wave back off the tower, collect some of that experience, and it looks like that won't be too much of a problem.
Radiant's top tower
I think this looks to be NP's easiest play to make. Go for the early T1 tower top. Luna's not quite level 6, but definitely with a level 6 Luna, they can force VP to make a response or give up this top tier 1 tower. That's going to kind of help free up some space for NP in theory if they have to rotate Ogre up there. So NP's probably making the call, guys, take that tower, help push things out, buy some time for me to kind of get some more out of this map.
Unfortunately, the Underlord has proved to be quite the opponent versus this push. Every single time he's just been able to Firestorm and pull those creeps off the tower, so not much tower damage done so far. Luna not wanting to brave the fires of the pit just to be able to get some damage, some chip away on that offlane tower. Similar situation, MSS hasn't lost too much damage on his tower. He's actually going to go for an early smoke up here with Rose.
Rose was spotted by that observer, not smoking, but he did pop by the ward, so they know he's around this mid lane, but they're not expecting him to perhaps smoke up from the high ground. This is the move to try and catch no one on the sniper.
And this should be a guaranteed kill, easily leading up with the burrow strike. Even the epicenter being thrown down just to ensure that no one does indeed fall, because it is such a critical kill. Eternal Envy will very gladly take up that first blood, as he definitely needs the comeback.
Yeah, that's the comeback smoke gank. They're kind of looking at the lanes like, look, Sanking's doing way better than you'd maybe hope. Morana's doing way worse than we'd hope. Let's kind of fix those problems and just go for that early. TP, instantly they use the Shrine to make sure they have the mana and HP for it, and very quick, decisive play from NP.
MSS already back to that bottom lane, continuing to defend his tower. Ramses has picked up the phase boots and the Morbid Mask. The Blink Dagger will be an eventual Once back, they are going to be able to catch MSS here. Might be able to pop. The charge comes through, manages to stop some of that damage, but it looks like the right clicks and the Thunder Strike's going to beat up. And now Rose is in some serious trouble. He's not going to be able to make it out of here alive. It seems he's in the tier 2 tower. Ramses actually backing up that kill for a second, but they still manage to claim it. Solo will brave the tower's damage in order to claim that extra kill. 2-1 now, and Solo is going to actually make it a 2-2. Unfortunately, still dies to the tier 2, but probably still worth it in the end. For VP, arrow comes out. Yo, Ramses almost running back into that one. Rose CP's in and immediately goes for the charge. Does get glimpsed back. He'll go ahead and take a timeout in the fountain, waiting for his next charge.
Oh, Luna sending the center all the way to this bottom lane. That's some team help coming out from AUI, but does look like they're going to keep this bottom tier 1 tower alive for now. Ursa not really known for his ability to turn kills into towers all too effectively, but still a win for VP in this bottom lane. Getting the key kills, Ogre going down a bit unfortunate for them as a result of Ramsey's misclick, but in the end it's still a favorable trade.
They see the charge coming in. Solo will put a quick stun onto Eternal Envy, especially under the shrapnel. Does a lot. Now Rose is going to be the next target of the shrapnel. He's easily going to go down here as well. The arrow comes out, but it's a bit too late. Doesn't catch anything. Eternal Envy is going to be forced into a preemptive leap there, as the ultimate coming out from no one being threatened.
They'll get some damage on this mid tier 1 as a result, so that's going to just keep putting pressure on there. Really kind of upping the ante here, VP, as they feel like they've defended their top tier 1 tower. They can start finding some of these kills. Ursa's in a pretty good state, hitting level 8. It's being charged here, but this is going to be scouted out by a Radiant Observer Ward and likely cancelled by Rose.
It's kind of interesting that they put the pressure on the enemy safe lane in this situation. They've only really tried to gank that sniper once. I think it was a great move. It was absolutely needed by NP, but I expected, I guess, a little bit more pressure from MSS and Rose on that mid lane, but instead they're going to try and claim this tower and take some control of VP's jungle.
They come down bottom as well, so setting up to defend this one.
TP and Shambles going to be able to slow things down. Rose actually going in. They do manage to follow this up with a Centaur. Nice positioning there on the side. AUI gets a beautiful ultimate on the other side of the trees, isolating that one support with his positioning. And they just blow up that one hero, the Disruptor. Now VP are going to be left to try and hide behind their tier 1 tower, but they're constantly being pecked away at by NP. You can have an arrow, potentially even a couple of loosened beams to be thrown out, weakening some of these heroes. So VP are not going to take any chances. Looks like they're just going to go for the full out of the Underlord. Nice stun from MSS, but that's more looks than anything else. NP seemingly will take this tower due to the forfeit of VP.
Pretty nifty use for the Underlord ultimate, get you out of a bad position there. And that was with NP having committed their ultimates. They did not want it, well, a couple of their ultimates, they still had the epicenter being the key thing there, as well as the chaotic offering had just come up. And I think VP suddenly had panic bells in their heads, like, wait a second, they may have just used Morana as well as Luna's ultimates, but they've still got a very hefty amount of teamfight left. And VP not really ready to fight until they get a key item or two on Sniper, on the Ursa. Ursa's just seeing with the Morbid Mask. Sniper hasn't even completed the Dragonlance, so he's not all too tanky. And I think most importantly, it's the defensive item on 9 Pasha. Not having a mech, it's going to make a big difference in these team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like the later levels, this VP team can actually get really tanky. You talked about the Dragonlance for the Sniper. He's also got that level 15 talent where he gets an extra 200 health. The Ursa obviously is just going to get tankier and tankier than the mech that we're all expecting from Pasha. They're trying to threaten the opposing safe lane tower as best they can. NP don't seem to be wanting to rotate and save that one. Instead, just pushing for some farm. Gladly taking a trade-off of tier 1 for tier 1, apparently.
VP's vision game has been phenomenal so far. Like, they've got wards, seeing that entire move down bottom, even though that didn't work to their advantage, the ward in the mid lane and top lane as well, securing, making sure they know they don't get caught out when they go for that top tier 1, because potential sanking wall-off teamfight is exactly what they don't want to be running and fighting into. So really on-point play coming out from Solo's Ogre so far.
3-3 right now, 11 minutes in. Goldgraph looking to be the favor of VP, about 2,500 and a 2,000 experience lead, but NP do seem to have better map control. Let's see if they can translate that into another team fight. They're going to be able to catch the Luna here. Luna, Moonlight Shadow, they will glimpse him back into this control of Asha. They managed to get the Disruptor ultimate on top of the AY as well. So that will be heavy commitment from VP, but well worth it to take out the carry of NP.
And they know once that Luna's down, they probably feel confident enough that they can just chase for more because the team fight isn't quite as scary without the Luna.
Yeah,
they're fighting into like a Warlock Sanking ulti combo. If there's no Luna there for the cleanup, chances are you'll still at least trade fairly favorably.
Yeah, you still don't have Blink Dagger on Sand King, and this Mirana is far enough behind that she's not a big team fight threat. So, Luna, enemy number 1 for VP. They're now going to try and put some pressure on the tier 1, or at least allow no one to do some chip damage. They completely surround him. How's NP going to respond to this? They do still have some of those big team fight ultimates, and it seems they're going to try and employ them with a 2-man smoke wraparound here. Or maybe they're not going to wrap on mid and just try and push into the enemy jungle.
Scanner at this mid landing, VP
Pull back there, but a nice jump away. Perfect timing there from MSS with that burrow strike.
That was crucial. He was just 200 short of Blink Dagger. Getting caught out there would have been very problematic.
Seems like NP had different ideas about what to do, unless that smoke was like an accidental thing, but they did that 2-man smoke up and then they kind of split off, and it seems like Luna just wanted to be able to farm up that bottom lane instead of trying to actively engage into a team fight against VP.
I imagine that they probably like misread the situation. They thought VP were committing for the mid tier 1 tower and wanted to try get the flank on them from behind, and then TP the Sand King in. But as soon as they realize VP back off, they pull back and don't want to waste time. They've got to maintain, get those next couple of items up, and make sure that Roche isn't going on. But this next fight not going to be as easy as they would hope for, even though they're going to have the big ultimates, because that mech is now going to be completed on the Underlord.
That mech, but also the Blink Dagger on the opposing side for MSS, thanks to his clutch timing on the Burrow Strike earlier. He managed to keep that gold intact, and we could have some big-time initiation for NP. How does VP play against that Blink Dagger? Do you think they need to group up a lot more and just stay pretty 5-man because they have this mech and everything, and there's so much strong initiation now from NP? Or is that going to cost them too much gold efficiency to be that clumped?
And if they see heroes missing, they need to be kind of grouping up. They can't afford to just be letting NP find those pickoffs around the map. They need to be protecting the sniper. We'll likely see Solo just kind of playing that sacrificial role where he's trying to just put himself in a position to scout up against.
Charge, and they do manage to quickly kill Lil here as he's going to be bumped into the air. He should be able to get that. Once the mech actually goes down, maybe Lil can still actually get something up. They just rip apart that Spirit Breaker, and NP is actually going to be forced back here as the Moonlight Shadow and a fight around the shrine is just not what they want to take. So, man, I thought with that arrow coming in, I was like, oh, all right, that's going to be a dead disruptor, but our early mech comes in.
I think Envy's like, I could go in aggressively for the Starstorm, but if I do, I'm dead as well, so... And an immediate smoke, they want more, they're going to find more.
Oh, that's exactly the kill they want to be able to pick up. Eternal Levy's just going to have no traction in this game. The turnaround, though, MSS managed to get a beautiful ultimate. They managed to take down one with AY. They're going to be able to get the other support, but the rest of VP have already started backing themselves away. The Ursa does manage to at least pick up SVG in return.
Ursa might go back in.
And they're still pretty healthy. There's no big ultimates going out. The Burrow Strike hits Ramses here, but there's just no firepower on NP. Not anymore.
Yes, ends up being an even-ish trade. I still feel like VP get the better of it just because they're going to kill Mirana. Anything to slow down the tag, except the timing is beneficial for them. They lose 2 supports, NP loses support and a core. Gold-wise, it slightly went okay for NP, but at the end of the day, they are in desperate need of NP to kind of come up big this game. It's his hero that is going to have to be able to split push the map and kind of be the answer to what's going to become a VP 5-man around a mech plus pipe timing. There's going to be VP able to get
ooh, a charge, but immediately there's Monster with a turnaround. They do need to get a stun on MSS. Hopefully be able to stop that Burrow Strike. Static's in a good position separating this fight. Ramses will get Rhodes as they try and back themselves away now. Eternal Levy does have an arrow. Beautiful Burrow Strike from MSS. A 3-man that opens things wide open for NP.
That was fantastic. The coordination there so fast to go into the Roshan pit. VP do not have a really viable response to this. They don't have any buybacks, nor would you particularly want to at this stage of the game. So, fantastic initiation from MSS. with AUI's help, come up big.
I really thought that after that team fight, right, because it went a little bit of a trade-off, slight lead for NP in the gold, as you mentioned, but big team fight ultimates used, well, VP are not cooldown dependent. I thought VP was just going to be able to group up and force it again, but NP, jump like that, easily taking the team fight, and they will get an Aegis for Luna. Their trouble. Snipes comes back, looks like a potential take on the road. Snipes landing there from Pasha. He started up that Pit of Malice for a second and then canceled it and redid it right as Rose was going for the charge out.
I'm definitely with you. I thought VP were in an okay position to go for that play, but MP just completely caught them by surprise with a really nice multiple hero Pyro Strike, the Fatal Bond hitting a few heroes as well, and MP being able to kind of position himself further back so he could dish out damage without getting taken out at the start of the fight.
Yeah, I think VP was just a bit out of position and didn't expect some quick aggression like that from NP. As you could see, they were even with the Aegis going into the hands of NP, they're still willing to go for that quick 5-man into a tower push. They don't manage to get it though. AUI bullying the heroes back with his Aegis will take the deny instead.
Still, I guess, a key objective for them taking down on the map. That's a kind of big focal point on the map where you kind of deny from your opponents. But with the new shrines, it is still a lot easier to maintain map control and maintain control of your own jungle here. So even having lost that T1 tower, they still have easy TP access to Roche Pit, easy access to their own jungle. So not as big as it maybe once was to take that mid T1 tower.
We've got, let's see, Manta Style is going to be coming in relatively soon for AUI. He's actually not that far away, just needs the ultimate orb. It's our poor Mirana, who's been pretty far set back. He's just got the Ogre Club trying to work towards that Aghanim Scepter. In order to get that speed up of the gold, do you think NP, they just wait for their team fight ultimates and start going for a 5-man push off the Aegis, or is that still dangerous against VP?
I think ideally they do want to be, even before getting the Ag Scepter, trying to take some fights around their big ultimates here. They've got smokes to play around with. They just need to get these lanes pushed out so it's a bit less apparent where those ganks are going. And you can see from VP's posturing, they're playing very defensively deep on their side of the map. They don't want to really push on out at all. They know NP have the far superior teamfight at this point. Aegis aside, it's just a big teamfight combo they just don't want to be engaging into. Ramses is trying to finish off his BKB, and that's something that they just want to try and quietly farm while avoiding NP.
It seems like VP are kind of willing to give this tier 1 tower at mid up if the NP force the issue. And the Underlord already rotating to bottom instead.
Yeah. The main issue for NP is, like, if VP avoids it, it's not easy for NP to just like brute force towers. They've got Luna who can push, but if you've got Luna kind of positioned on the front lines, that gives VP like a way into the fight.
Levy couldn't quite get the position there for an arrow to stop that TP. Either way, unlikely they were going to really be able to catch that Ursa. Instead, VP are going to go for a 4-man smoke into the bottom area, see if they can go through the Shine, maybe catch somebody who's jungling up. Luna is actually heading in that direction right as the 19-minute marker is about to come up. The AUI, the Moonlight Shadows pop, but a glimpse used right before the invis goes down actually moves Luna nowhere, so this is going to be the turnaround for NP. The opportunity to find a pick, it's just going to be solo it seems, but still anything to be able to stop the aggression of VP, well worth it for NP.
Kind of awkward going for those moves because they don't have a clear initiation. They don't have like a Slider or a Sanking that like instant disable to kind of lead with it. It's the Disruptor who they're hoping can get a kind of glimpse catch on someone, but problem is the instant Moonlight Shadow, you've got to kind of wait. You can't just use the glimpse right away. You've got to wait for a couple of seconds to pull the Luna back in, and in that couple of seconds, NP respond and they get themselves in the position to strike. But they cut their losses, they recognize it wasn't a good pick for them, and they're going to lose an Ogre, a Tower, and
I love
maybe
this
even
play.
This
This is beautiful. They actually have the mid push going on, but the rest of the heroes have smoked up and rotated bottom. They can't go one, and a beautiful setup from MSS right as the TP completes with Pasha. They're going to be able to get the extra kill before, but they're stuck inside the Pit of Malice. The Underlord's actually getting away here. The turnaround comes out from AUI. The great pop by the Ursa is going to be able to take up a lot of that, but until AUI comes to the fore, is going to be able to output enough physical damage to take out these supports. At least one of them. It looks like the Disruptor hiding away in the trees will manage to survive. The bouncing blades, just so much to handle, but they will manage to finally bring him down. The Ogre is dead. Ramses and Lil are going to fight this one out with Pasha, seeing if they can actually kite AUI. Pasha will go down first, but AUI will end up going down to Ramses. Lil manages to stay alive through all of that and is looking for the extra crap. He's going to be able to TP into the shrine, catch them with a glimpse, and that is going to be a full wipe here as SVG will die to Ramses.
Oh my gosh, they respond so well to that aggression on the sniper, and Underlord somehow survives with 15 HP. tucks himself into the trees, comes back out for some extra damage output, even throws his life away to make sure they kill the Luna a second time. That was just some incredible coordination from BP.
I thought that was such a cool play by MP to go for that 4-man smoke, and they just let AUI go for that push and see if they can get that, but it just all turns wrong. BP find the initiation, or the counter initiation rather, under that tier 2.
They had the vision to support it, they had the right ultimates to support it, but it was just ends up being a little bit too deep, and VP just with the response there. They burst down NP nice and fast, and it feels like anytime NP commits too hard into the fight, VP are more than happy to take it and just trade kills, because they probably recognize that Luna alone isn't going to be able to kind of carry this game. They need NP to scale as well, and he just keeps on going down in these fights, and it's kind of going to become quite worrisome for NP that the Ursa, the sniper, are just far ahead of Miranda right now.
Is the reason that you say that Luna's not going to be enough to carry this game, is that because I think it was Merlini what pointed out the Luna's range disparity against Sniper puts him at a pretty natural disadvantage. So
yeah,
you need that extra core to get farm, right?
The way they deal with the Sniper is through like the Sand King plus Miranda. They're the two main gap closers come mid to late game. Like the Sand King with his Blink forced out to get in, and then Miranda needs to follow it up with like not just Snag Scepter, but the Blink, the E-Blades, all these other gap closing items and damage dealing items, which just aren't going to come online at this rate. So, or they're going to come online at a rate where Sniper is just a couple items ahead, so they're not going to matter. So feels like right now Luna, yeah, she can be in the front line to do a lot of damage, fight into the Ursa, the Underlord, be effective with the ultimate, but yeah, can't fight the Sniper.
It's getting pretty nasty too. No one has himself a Maelstrom and is about to complete that Hurricane Pike, so we're going to have a nice bit of mobility for this Sniper to add on against this aggressive jump from NP. Speeding things up with this tier 1 tower being traded up as the tier 1 atop is being claimed by NP. They're actually going to start TP here and see if they can actually take this fight off. The Glib baiting AUI a bit. They're going to be able to catch him with Ramses, but Rose bumps him back. Nice jump in from Lonzo. That's going to be able to catch these heroes long enough for the static storm and the kinetic field combination to be able to catch these heroes. AUI only survives off the infants for now, backing himself away, and instead for the counter initiation goes in deep, tries to pick up no one, but this hero is surviving just a little bit more. MSS, he finally does manage to get that kill, but now he's trapped inside the trees, and he juked his way to victory here. Has the Burrow Strike, doesn't get hit by the Pit of Malice, goes a little bit deeper, gets the Blink, TP's out, Ramses is there, finds MSS, but it's not enough, they cleansed it! They caught him at the end. Lil will bring MSS back to his doom. And Lil looks like he may be dying to these illusions. Actually, because of that Burrow Strike, it brings it close. But Lil barely managed to survive once again in the trees, the MO of this 4 position of VP.
Once again, it's just VP just all on the same page. Whenever VP make a move, they're making it as a 5-man unit. They all go down bottom to defend the Sniper. This time it's all 5 of them making sure that they come at the exact same time in the right order to defend their top tier. I mean, they lose the tower, but it's the Ursa initiating. You can't kill him if you're NP. He's got a BKB, he's got Enrage, he's too tanky. So that first hero running at you, you're forced to retreat. Luna gets down to such a sliver of HP. The fight's already kind of over at that point because Luna's unable to re-engage, and without that fighting force from the Luna, NP just didn't have the damage output to win it.
Do you think a large part of this is that Ramses picked up the BKB so early on to this game that he can be such a bruising force against NP? He is fearlessly diving into this team in situations like we saw at that top lane.
Well, yeah, I was thinking he might just go for the Ags first because you can get any of the stuns, but the BKB is just far better, as we could see in that fight. He's not afraid of anything. He can blink in all by himself. It was a bit unfortunate that there wasn't like a dust following him, otherwise he would have killed off the Luna, but the BKB pickup has worked fantastic for him.
All right, it's finally here. It's finally here, Eternal Envy. He just needs a little bit more tick gold, and he will have the Aghanim Scepter, in which case we'll start seeing some of these other items quickly following up. It's such an important item for the Miranda to have to progress in that farm.
This is, I think, MP going to perhaps be forced a little bit to slow things down, but they're also playing a lineup that doesn't necessarily want to slow things down too much, otherwise VP will just take control of the map, push out all these lanes, and Sniper getting a few more items, and just not just Sniper, but getting like Underlord onto the Greaves, getting just all these teamfight items into play is going to make it very hard for MP to have the damage output to kind of scale, because they are so spell dependent. They're not really going to get too much out of their items outside of the Luna, and the ultimates from the magic damage is just going to kind of fall off as like the pipe, the mechs, the greaves all come into play.
Yeah, I mean, just think about that last fight. In the MSS, he just ran out of damage towards the very end. Only barely had enough to be able to kill no one, and that was before the level 15 talent. So now this sniper has 1600 health when he's on agility power treads, goes up to around 1801 strength. So this guy is actually exceptionally tanky, and he's got the mech as well as the pipe that he can rely on. They actually have to commit so much to be able to kill this damage dealer who's traditionally thought of as a glass cannon here on the back lines.
And with the bloodlust, like he probably feels confident, like, oh, he's got enough damage. Yeah, he's already queued up the BKB. He doesn't feel like he needs to go for offensive items. He just wants to stay alive as much as possible.
Moonlight Shadow, big initiation coming up here for NP as they're going to try and stop this Roshan. But it looks like it's going to happen a bit too fast. The Age is already in hand the VP. Will NP take this fight regardless? Doesn't seem like it. Throw out the arrow, but not much is going to happen here. NP quick on the retreat, and now it's VP who can push the advantage with this Aegis.
We'll see how much they can get out of this one. Still is a scary thought just to try and 5-man brute force push into NP if they can hit a good Fatal Bonds and get that all that AoE working together. But for VP, it's just going to be the slow siege. Have Sniper as the only one really hitting the buildings and just back him up if he gets gone on.
All right, well, the chip damage will begin. No one on the front lines, quickly clearing through that creep wave, and NP still hanging around. Looking like they do want to try and contest, but with Eternal Levy being hit by this Thunder Strike, they're already a bit out of position, and it looks like this Tier 2 is just going to be given up. MSS being the only one to try and actually split push at this point.
One uncontested out of towers. They can get the other Tier 2s, that then opens them up to kind of take out these shrines as well and really deny NP any control of the map or their own jungle. But VP happy for now just to kind of play the farming efficiency game. Pack is already TP'd down bottom, completed Greaves and Pipe, who's going to be going for a Crimson Guard next, so team survivability is the name of the game there, and kind of going to be reaching that point soon where if they want to be getting kills in these fights, it's going to have to come from AUI having another big item or two.
Yeah, he's trying to pick up the BKB right now. We also need Eternal Envy to start progressing in his items, the Blink Dagger, Ethereal Blade, those sort of things still need to be picked up. Pasha going for the use of his Dark Rift, TP out of that bottom lane. Smart move does manage to stay ahead of the attempted gank by NP.
And he knows he's pushed out that bottom lane enough that they'll get the Tier 2 top tower and not have to worry about trading towers. That's the one thing they don't want to do, is just make trades here. They want to be the ones taking towers and then defending lane does need it. They can either defend bottom now or they can force like the Tier 3 tower to get NP TPing back. So they're the ones who are dictating play.
Seems like VP are trying to position themselves to catch a hero as they rotate back to defend that top lane. Ramsey's aggressively linking forward here. Doesn't manage to actually run into Rose. Moonlight Shadow being used though, and damage, it just comes too quick thanks to that Mask of Madness. The heavy attack speed from this Ursa rips apart a Spirit Breaker before the Moonlight Shadow could take hold.
Picking them apart one by one. That's the beauty of taking out all these outer towers. MP are just kind of playing blind at this point. You know, they get down a few observer wards, but not much has kind of stayed up. And
I mean, this is how you know that this is what like Eternal Envy does, right? He sees when an enemy team has an advantage, and he starts doing these things that are like kind of like anything just to be able to gain a small advantage. He loves being able to cut creep waves a lot. He'll do like really aggressive maneuvers because he knows that the current game is very favored for VP, so he's got to do something different.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where all it would have taken is maybe one observer ward seeing him coming there, disruptive preemptively TPs back, and he gets caught during the TP, but he knows you've got to go for those small efficiency plays when you're down as NPR. They're still in a position where their high ground defense is very potent, very scary. VP are not going to be able to break through, take any kind of a racks with this Aegis right now. They're still just looking to scale item-wise. No one doesn't go for the BKB right away, picks up the Mjolnir, recognizing the Aegis is enough protection for him. There's no fights kind of coming anytime soon with NP playing keep away, and the Aegis expiring probably means VP are going to kind of continue to play this map control game.
There's the Blink Dagger finally for the Mirana AUI, serving as the frontliner here in this top lane push. They've seen the sniper a couple times, so they don't really feel too scared about VP initiating, but push the lane in a decent amount, give themselves some space to work with, and now they'll try and play the farming game in the bottom half of that.
A lot of TP's down bottom here. Looks like NPR thinking about this sniper.
Oh, they're going to go for the Underlord play, actually. They're going to try and contest what was a pretty clear opportunity for Gabe and NP. They're going to be able to get this glimpse thanks to that one. BKB preemptively utilized, and that's a big win as long as VP don't get caught in a nasty situation. Here's Beta Bonds, the charge goes out, they are going to be able to get a golem onto 2. AUI surges forward with that ultimate, but the Glimmer Cape's going to be able to take Lil, not going to be able to take Pasha. It looks like the damage seems overwhelming as MSS comes in with the epicenter, tries to find Lil, but they've already got him dead. No other hero's going to be caught on the side of VP. A Dark Rift that thought was going to actually turn out pretty good with that glimpse, but the BKB and a nice jump in by NP turned things around pretty starkly, and now no one's in some trouble. He's going to be charged up by Rose. The invis still working his dividends here. Rose is going to be able to bump back the Ogre. They're actually going to try and kill that support first, but Rose is going to have a hard time backing himself away. Ramsey's popping the BKB, and NP will begin the kite game. But unfortunately, our Warlock not able to kite at all. The Diffuser Blade slows him down to a crawl. Ramsey looks for the next kill. Actually, Trench is trying to back out. His BKB is done, and now that is going to do its work. Popsy in range survives a little bit longer underneath this tier 2 tower. They need a bit more, and they've got him too. MSS dies for it, but he managed to ensure both the cores of VP go down, and NP in a great position now to pressure a tower.
The timing of that aggression from NP is just so good. They keep chasing the tier 2 tower as they know the Aegis is about to expire. It expires like, he uses the Yules, it's like expiring mid-Yules, and NP then just bring him down after it, and it was fantastic decision making coming out. Bottom lane, they make sure, even though the BKB was wasted, they kind of recognized that VP had just caught out, they weren't all together, they weren't ready for a fight, and NP realized that they can hit that big combo on the 3-4 heroes down bottom.
Yeah, they're so overly committed to this attempt to bring everyone to this bottom lane and see if they can actually get a catch on that glimpse that they're definitely out of position. And now things looking quite nasty. The Underlord's going to try and continue this progression in these sustainability items, pick up the Crimson Guard, but at a certain point in time, the sustain that this hero offers is strongest in the first 35 minutes of the game. This team fight may not be as easy once the Luna really starts picking up heavy physical damage.
What do you make of the Necrobook build on the Spirit Break? Have you been
I like it.
all, or?
Yeah, we saw this earlier, and I think that I like it quite a bit because it gives you this really powerful, because you've got the control of charge and the ultimate, as well as you can probably rely on the Unabashed coming in, right? So you've got a hold of like 6 seconds on a hero, in which case those Necronomicons just do so much work, burning through a hero's mana. It gives you a little bit of pushing power, some split pushing power as well. It just seems to fill a lot of gaps that Spirit Breaker has going later on into the game.
It was one of those items that received some nice little buffs with the shorter cooldown on the mana burn, so see VP look to do now. They are kind of grouped up here, wondering if they're going to be the ones making a smoke play. They probably ideally want to grab themselves another Aegis before they get too aggressive again. They know, for the most part, they still have pretty good control of the map, having taken down the tier 2 towers in both top and mid lane. Problem is that shrine near the Roche pit, which they still can't bring down. And the Lord going up top.
Yeah, and the butterfly is complete now for NP. It's gonna be pretty nasty. So even if their magic damage is beginning to run out a little bit, they're picking up big physical damage in this Luna, and eventually Mirana is also going to be making some big leaps in damage as well. He's currently trying to actually pick up a BKB after this Blink Dagger he chose to go for. Eternal Envy showing himself in the top lane. He might rotate mid as well, but the other four smoked up, pushed forward inside their own jungle, and hoping to be able to catch someone, but Ramsey already blinks himself back. MSS managed to get the catch, but it's a little bit too far. All of these VP heroes, AY says, damn it, I'm going in. You guys need to follow me in, but he realizes this is too much to handle. A couple of BKBs popped by VP, and now they're the ones who are going to try and turn things around. Nice comes back into the other own orb, and AY can't really do much about this. Manta, but gets the force out of that Static Storm. He's going to be good for now. No one's damage is stalled up. MSS gets the Burrow Strike, but this people is doing so much work. All these heroes, they're stuck inside this one. They can't go anywhere. No one's just tearing them apart from a distance. Rose bumps it back just an attempt at a retreat, but he's not going to be able to make it out of here and assassinate. He gets paid. NP. They still try and finish this one up. Eternal Envy will manage to know what it looks like, but he's dropped quite low. Underlord in solo. They're trying to battle it out with MSS right now. MSS with the Golem feeling good, gets the 2-man Burrow Strike. Solo's quite low, but it looks like Eternal Envy's not willing to make that commitment just yet. He comes forward, and Starstorm not going to be able to hit Solo here. Underlord threatening them with a Pen and Malice. He's going to be able to catch Eternal Envy in a second here. There goes the multi-cast stun, and the Burrow Strike misses. MSS in some serious trouble. He's already lost his damage dealer. Can he actually make it out of here? You'll Scepter force that forward. Sandstorm trying to get out. Burrow Strike is up in second, and it looks like he will escape, but NP have dropped 4, thanks in part to VP. No one just outputting so much damage on that sniper.
Yeah, he suddenly got brought down very quickly at the end by the Marana, but that was, I guess, an okay fight in the end for NP. NP should not have died there, though. It was one of those things where normally it's high risk, high reward. That was a high risk, low reward. He was overcommitting at the end to try to bring down the Ogre, and not really worth dying for, but VP perhaps getting put back a bit there. Both Ursa and Sniper dying in the fight, both teams losing their cores. Neither team really progresses all too much, but this will kind of set the stage for that next Roche fight. Coming in a minute, Roshan will be back up, and both teams will be eyeing that one off. NP will have most of their team fight ultimates back up, and VP will be trying to secure that with their Ursa.
25 to 20, 35 minutes in, we are going to start approaching and thinking about what the late game is going to be looking like for these two teams. Do you give the advantage to the Ursa sniper and the physical damage they're able to output, or you think Luna and maybe a comeback from this Marana could be enough? Oh, a catch here, SVG. Nice use of the Dark Rift with the help of Ramses. They'll easily be able to get that pick off on a support. 50 seconds. This is probably enough for them to take that tier 2.
I think the late game can swing back NP's way if they can manage to get NP just another item or two. They're trying to. If Roche had respawned there, that would have been such a good pickup for NP, blocking it from VP, but they're just going to camp in here. They know it's respawning sometime in the next 20 or so seconds, and they'd love to get it, but
you've got to feel for them. They're like, hey, it's got to spawn soon, but it looks like VP's going to be able to get that tier 2 at bottom lane for free, and they can actually start rotating and contest Roshan for themselves. Looks like they're going to take the shrine first.
Some extreme misfortune, and I mean, VP aren't even kind of scouting out the pit. They did have the observer ward in the neighborhood and did see NP kind of floating around and leaving the pit, so probably felt safe knowing that they weren't actually in there. And yeah, with the shrine able to be taken down, this game gets a lot more difficult for NP to kind of assert themselves on the map. They're going to have to come up with some very clever smoke usage to make those kind of moves again.
Fortunately, that's one of the great things about the Marana pickup in this kind of patch, right, is that they may be locked inside their base, but they're not just reliant on smokes to be able to push out and find initiations.
And Envy's one of those players who I feel uses the Moonlight Shadow almost better than any other Marana.
Oh yeah, I think that dates all the way back to the earlier days of Cloud9, the way they were able to use the Marana then. Always very efficient and opportunistic rotations with the Moonlight Shadow.
What we're seeing here, Pasha going for like potentially going in for an extra 4-star, anything to help keep no one alive in these fights. He just wants to tank up as much as possible. Normally you expect like an MKB against the Butterfly of Luna, but this sniper just wanting to make sure he can keep himself alive as much as possible.
The smoke initiation. Looks like it could be Eternal Envy who's going to be the first one to pop this smoke. And he's got that quick reaction leap. That's not necessarily the best target to run into. Maybe they're going to think about going back into this pit. Let Ursa try and do it. They kill the creep that's inside of the pit, and now let Ursa solo up Roshan. It's going to force NP into an initiation, but it may not be the clean initiation you're expecting out of a Roshan fight. Arrow lands on the Underlord, but NP still not feeling comfortable with actually taking that fight.
Really good positioning from Solo. He knows if they want to go on him, he can face all the spells. If he dies, it's not too big of a deal as long as he's bloodlusting his teammates.
Yeah, and this is the space needed for them to be able to get this agent some cheese. An arrow comes out, not going to land on anything. Roshan is going to die here. The fight may still actually commence. Being here in a position to be able to catch somebody potentially. Lils is going forward, looking for the glimpse. Does manage to actually catch the MSS Sand King, but he immediately gets a blink out. They've also seen SVG with the assassinate, brought him a little bit low. These heroes start hiding themselves in the trees. It looks like NP is just trying to make a full retreat, and whatever heroes get caught, they're just going to leave them be. That's going to be SVG.
They cut their losses there, but kind of reminiscent of what we saw earlier from Execration when they were just going into the pit. They didn't have their big ultimates, and they just leave that one tinky hero outside, kind of the bruiser you've got to go through, and you can kill him. That situation was the Tide of DJ. Here it's the Ogre of Solo. If you want to commit spells, you can take this kill, but it's not really worth it to use those cooldowns. Even just using a single Burrow Strike can lose you a team fight if you waste that on an Ogre rather than a hero like a Sniper or an Ursa. So NP unable to get into the pit, and VP find themselves with Aegis and Cheese.
I mean, this is also an Ogre that is unnaturally tanky, right? This is not a build that we see a whole lot, but a Solar Crest as well as a Hood of Defiance on him, and he picked that 8% magic resistance. So this Ogre actually has so much armor on both sides of the table, as well as that miss percentage chance, that it's going to take you a while to eat through him.
Yeah, the casual is such a value item for him, and Yeah, VP are going to be the ones with all the control to kind of 5-man force towers here, but NP can easily play the split push game, something that Jackie's Mirana is no stranger to.
Yeah, you've also got this really versatile Sand King pickup that also does that really well, thanks to the huge amount of mobility it offers and just real quick clearing of waves. So they've got 2 different heroes to do that and potentially buy time, enough time maybe for the Luna and Mirana to do what they need to do going into the late game.
We'll see how much VP can get here. Their lineup outside the sniper, not exactly built for kind of going onto the, well, doesn't go onto the high ground, can slowly break it from outside. And I imagine they're going to be looking to force NP onto them.
Glimpse pull back there, no kinetic field latch. Moonlight Shadow is going to be used, and no one will start backing himself away. Doesn't want to give NP the free opportunity of an invis initiation. Even if they do have the counter, they've got the gem on Pasha. They've got plenty of time to be able to work around, so Moonlight Shadow's up, might as well back up for a few seconds and commence the siege.
Pasha actually just going to sit smoke next to no one, so if he gets jumped, there's an immediate potential pipe, as well as Crimson Guard to protect him. In broad daylight, but cannot be seen, and this is going to be an uncontested tier 3 tower.
And nothing really happening here. They're trying to do a bit of split pushing at bottom with this Necronomicon level 1. They will get the tier 2 tower, but no one's very rapidly going to start working on your ranged or melee racks. MKB now up for the Ursa as well, so he can really threaten AY's Luna. Jump forward, they do manage to stun up no one inside of the base with a nice force step forward, but it doesn't really get enough done.
We'll see if they can perhaps panic VP, make them use a spell or a BKB. They don't want to, but well played by no one. He wants to hold that BKB for the Agent respawn most likely.
Bruiser comes forward solo, threatening these heroes up, and they're going to make their initiation. It's Eternal Ending comes forward with the DKB, but he's already been locked down. Does manage to get the leap away. No one can't quite finish him up, and the Shrine starts doing its work. Meanwhile, inside of this one, Spirit Breaker's in the middle of it with AY. Here comes MSS for the counter initiation, but the Epicenter isn't going to be able to do enough against the Burrow Strike. A little bit more AoE damage. They brought a couple low. No one's going to come back in, but he's surrounded by enemies on all sides. He focuses on SVG first, pops the BKB, bounces himself away from AY, goes for the TP out, and that is a clean escape by him. No bash going to come up. Ramses is going to be left behind, though. He'll be the one kind of down to his death. NP will hold outside of their base. They lost the tier 3. They lost the ranged racks, but they will hold for now.
I mean, Shrine's helping defend high ground there and be able to immediately re-engage. The Assassinate also wasn't going to be able to kill him thanks to the Shrine. That was really making it tough for VP there, and some just great high ground defense play. Did cost them a Luna buyback, but now they're in a position to push forward and take some objectives of their own. There's still tier 2 towers to go through, but they're going to find a VP side who do not have a buyback on their Ursa because he committed to that MKB purchase.
Yeah, that may be something NP knows, simply because that item pickup was very clearly new. They're going to go for the tier 2s. They're not actually going to go straight through mid and threaten high ground just yet. Perhaps taking the more conservative tier 2s and Shrine option.
I think just being able to take out all these Shrines and know that you're doing so safely without putting yourself in a position to get caught by a potential glimpse into buyback where you just find yourself in a fight that you're gonna, if Luna dies, you probably just straight up lost the game at this point. So yeah. Hitting MP, rightfully just playing it a bit safer. We'll take out the first of the 2 Shrines. Probably not too concerned about that bottom Shrine as much right this second. That top Shrine near the Roche Pit, the more important of the 2.
One thing, it seems SVG, unless I'm missing anything, he really doesn't have a whole lot of progression. We're not going to see the real good late game impact of the Aghanims or Refresher coming out from SVG anytime soon. He had that hand of Midas at okay timing, but hasn't progressed since, oftentimes being chewed up by either the Ursa or the Sniper.
Has guaranteed him the levels to get at least his level 3 ultimate soon, but yeah, no item progression whatsoever. Wouldn't be surprised to see him just pick up some cost-effective lads type items for the team.
And on the other side, we have some very good progression by Lil's Disruptor, who now just completed an Aghanim Scepter.
He is, very, very rich. But I guess, on comparison, it's the Spirit Breaker of Rose also seeing around that 10k net worth mark. But, I mean, the BKB Necrobook, I don't feel will have a similar teamfight impact to a Disruptor Axe. If you can get a good initiation off of that and prevent a BKB coming out from someone like Luna, that can win you a game.
Both MKBs are up for the cores of VP. So they seem to be feeling really comfortable with killing Luna again. No buyback, trying to work towards towards that Satanic, but it's not going to be picked up before this next push from VP. It seems like they don't even need to wait for Roshan.
They are putting themselves in a position where Sniper will not have buyback though, so fairly risky. And Ursa's buyback was about to come back up, so it's not like he's thinking, okay, my Ursa doesn't have buyback, I may as well just spend my money as well, since if we lose a fight, only one of us can buy back. This is a VP team who feel confident they can press forward.
Arrow onto no one. Limmercape. They're actually going to charge him up here. The Underlord's going to try and intercept him with the BKB activated. They're going to fully commit to no one here, trying to finish him off, but with his BKB activated, it just doesn't seem like they have the damage to be able to output. No one, he's actually being targeted by AEY now with the jump in. The MSS doing a lot there, but no one is surviving through this one, but the rest of the team is not. VP are collapsing now, and Pasha can't save them. The Dark Rift attempt, but it's not going to be there. He gets away, but all of his comrades had fallen, and none of MP have dropped.
I don't know, that's such a ballsy play from VP to go with the sniper in the front lines. He gets hit by the 5-second arrow, but that's not even the problem. He doesn't actually take any real damage during the arrow. It's the Spirit Breaker charge from Rose that sets everything up there, and then the big team fight to follow it up. He stays alive during the BKB, but as soon as it ends, VP just fall apart there, and I think they just didn't recognize in time that the fight was going south, because the plan must have been, okay, if the fight looks bad, we can buy time for the Dark Rift out because we've got these BKBs, but it looked like they just thought they were winning the fight, because that Dark Rift came way too late for them to salvage the situation.
Yeah, MSS, like, all the physical damage that they attempted on Noah just seemed to do so little, but his BKB wore off, and MSS came in with just the most beautifully timed epicenter, hitting all the clumped up heroes. A little bit of poke there at Lil, no follow-up there from Eternal Envy. Throws out the arrow now, but they're chipping away at this tier 3 now for 25 seconds until jump in. Ooh, Ramsey's actually trying to push NP back. That is very risky. It costs them a BKB charge, which NP are not going to try and punish here. Not feeling comfortable with the 15 seconds.
Yeah, down to 5-second BKB anyway, so probably just feeling like this is an extra like 10 if I do this will buy me 10 seconds off my sniper's respawn time, so not worrying about the timer on it. Does put his BKB on cooldown for a short while, but I think MP know with sniper respawning, they saw what just happened to VP, trying to push high ground into shrines, into high ground advantage. It's not going to work out well for them once sniper's back alive with Bloodlust. And when you're pushing high ground to the sniper, he can sit way back by his throne, by his tier 4 tower, and be really well protected. Yeah, potentially you could say VP have better high ground just because of the nature of the sniper, and it's nighttime, so that vision's just going to be garbage for NP. Trying to seek out that hero, so maybe it's all going to come down to a Roshan fight. Neutral ground where these two teams can collapse, poking at Pasha, but of course he is a tanky son of a gun, and there's no way that NP want to make that kind of commitment. Not on that hero, at least. VP need to be careful there. Probably just me banking on the Dark Rift bailout if they get caught outside their base on someone like Sniper, and they're not going to be able to take the fight, so the not committing. Even the Ursa not kind of, or he used his buyback just now, will be looking to upgrade into that Abyssal as soon as possible. The Blink Abyssal on someone like a Luna into the Static Storm is probably going to be the play they look for to start off the fight, because that's really the best insta-disable they've got to work around. And
that is the one real big downside, right? Is that VP's initiation is not hard and fast like NP's is, with potentially, you've got Spirit Breaker, that's a little bit of telegraphing, but very clearly like MSS has this Blink Burrow that can actually set up and they can combo stun heroes down before the BKBs go off. VP don't really have that same option unless it's, as you said, the Blink Abyssal.
I mean, if Lil doesn't get like an Axe Static Storm off all game, it's by no fault of his own. There's no setup. It's one of those spells which, realistically, to get off before a BKB comes out on a Luna or someone, you need a stun to go before you, and that is just kind of what's lacking until something like the Abyssal comes up. And even with the Abyssal, it's still not going to be always reliable, and NP are going to be looking to play around that one. I'm curious how much NP worry about Rocha, and after the last few defenses, they may just feel like they can still defend against an Aegis, but at the same time, they may just want to strike while the iron's hot. They've got the Ursa without a buyback. Sniper, they don't know, doesn't have buyback for now, although he's very, very close, and that's something VP will definitely want to have before they try anything like a Roche.
A smoke up, and NP will indeed contest Roshan, it seems. Spreading themselves out, not sure which direction they're going to be heading. Eternal Envy's going to be leading the way. Follow me, he says. Moonlight Shadow into the off-lane jungle of the Radiant side. The scan of the Dire has actually clipped some of VP. They're sitting right here in the mid lane. They're actually going to smoke up, and we may see ourselves a little bit of a merry-go-round, as it's going to be VP who now push forward, and NP are actually now taking the Radiant high ground.
Can NP get themselves an Aegis is probably the big question here.
smoke. They're going to run into an invis of Rose, but they do see next to the jet. They can be activated, but Ramsey blocks it down, is able to get that bash, holding the hero in place, and now NP on top of an arrow. NP, they've lost their Spirit Breaker, but they're not able to make the commitment on a solo. He's obviously just not the hero they can go on. These two big guys, Underlord and Ogre, they just serve as these tanky heroes that, oh my god, he actually popped the epicenter. They thought they were actually going to come forward. VP, they didn't actually go for it. They went back to the Roshan pit. That's going to be an epicenter completely wasted. And now NP, I have no idea how they actually contested, but they're going to try. They drop the golem, and a beautiful Baroque strike on the multiple heroes, but it's just not enough. Barada, he's already been brought down. No one, he's now targeting MSS. MSS trying to make its way away with the Yule Scepter. Here comes Luna. Pasha's trying to go for the Dark Rift out. Solo is trying to battle up against this as well. AUI's getting kited around this gun. He's just not good for him. Ramsey's on top of it as well. He tries to pop this, they did, but it's not enough. Ramsey survives. He doesn't win that 1 versus 4, and now it's going to be the extra heroes. NP down for 2 minutes on the Luna, and VP in a great position, not just to take Roshan, but also to force those buybacks.
Yeah, NP was very, very adamant. They wanted to hold that high ground. Even having lost the Spirit Breaker, they felt standing on those radiant enemies. They knew they had the high ground advantage, and NP would have to come up into them. They felt they could use the epicenter there, but NP, they missed the epicenter, and after that, everything just falls apart. NP got caught out in the Ag Static Storm and unable to get his BKB off, really cost him.
Look at no one. He is slowly waddling his way to the front lines. Oh, no boots. They're sitting in his backpack as he went ahead and forsook those for the Aegis.
Why not?
I mean, he could just plant himself outside of the base. NP's going to be forced into an engagement at some point.
Just a casual, what, almost 1200 attack range. Coming out with the extra attack range from level 25 talent.
1200 attack range, 330 movement speed. That's the way you rock it.
Well, that's going to be the melee Rex, but a kind of melee Rex that's kind of inconsequential. You're kind of at that stage, 52 minutes in, one lane of, you already lost the range Rex there. It's not going to change the state of the game too much. You've got plenty of heroes that can push out lanes at this point.
And thanks to this gigantic push at top lane, they are going to be forced back. They can't just continue to rotate into another lane.
Pasha's there to farm it up. He's kind of hitting that critical mass himself. Doesn't really have too many item slots to free things up here. Really wants to hold on to all of these 5 teamfight items at this point.
I like his choice of Vlad's. I think he had a quick buy of Scythe of Ice at one point in time, but clearly this Vlad's is going to have so much value for the Sniper and Ursa.
Yeah. Late Ags on the Ogre, this is some added magic damage and just extra lockdown. For someone like Luna, when you're getting down to that stage where you're going to have a 5-second BKB, this can be quite highly impactful. And speaking of Luna, a fresh Agatha.
Yeah, I felt like that last ultimate, was it there in that last team fight? Or did he just pick it up?
I think he just picked it up, I would say.
Alright, okay. In which case we would see the firepower of this Eclipse. He could potentially throw it with the Sand King initiation. They could just have mass magic damage, but VP is incredibly tanky. They've almost got 3k HP on the Sniper. Same goes with the Underlord. They've got over 3k on the Ursa, and he's got Enrage as well as BKB. It's an amazing amount of magic damage that NP can put out, but ultimately it does have its end, and VP may just be able to survive through it and strike back afterwards.
This is, yeah, on paper, the answer to the Sniper. You can't get close enough to hit him, well, just throw an ultimate on someone like a Sand King who can get in melee range of him. And if you can do enough damage, like if you can get Sniper alone in a Burrow Strike with the Axe Eclipse before his BKB, he will melt very, very quickly. Doesn't really have good sustain, doesn't have any kind of a life steal like a Satanic to heal himself back up, so he will be pretty much permanently low. The Underlord with the Greaves is not going to be able to heal him up really enough in that situation.
Got the Blink Dagger on Lil as well. We haven't, I think, seen too much of a big jump from the Disruptor to get a big Static Storm lockdown, but maybe possible with this next initiation. They're going to start chipping away at that tier 3 tower. I say chipping, but it's more like chunking with the way that no one's outputting physical damage right now.
Yeah, they're going to just say, NP, you guys are going to have to come it out.
And MSS is not going to be able to find a clean initiation. It seems like Pasha is able to sniff him out pretty easily.
Ramsey's just looking for that jump. If he can get a Blink Abyssal into the Static Storm, that's going to be all over for NP.
There goes the arrow onto no one. He tanks it. The Glimmer cables up. Now comes the Sheeva's 2-man throw strike to set things up. Ramsey is going to be able to jump forward, and he targets the Luna. Almost bring her down. The Golem stops things up, but Ramsey still gets that final swing. The Golem's in Blood Fatal Bond's a good position. mission, but they just don't seem to have enough damage. VP still look very tanky. They finally get that ultimate down, but they're lacking the Luna ultimate, and that is what the game plan was. NV just run out of steam here. Their two heroes are down for 2 minutes, and that means they will call it GG. Virtus.Pro will take this game 1.
Oh, I mean, that's a fantastic way to open this series. Such an evenly contested game. Both teams had their kind of their own things there. VP just made better use of having the Aegis, having the cheese, and they just found ways to kind of execute their team fight. They just protected the snipers so